Hello there YouTube. Today I thought, since I've been gone a while, I thought I'd do an update video. An update on not me and what I've been doing and what the team's been doing, but an update on the meta, and with the release of Evilswarm and Hidden Castle 7. I just thought that I would do a video on that and the impact on the meta we've been discussing in the team. So I thought I'd like to share our thoughts with you. So what I think I'm going to do is going to go through the different decks of the format and talk about how I think Evilswarm will do against those decks. So the first deck I want to talk about is Prophecy. Prophecy is a huge deck, very popular. One of our team has been made famous because of the deck, and obviously because of its hard work. And so Prophecy, I think, is definitely one to talk about. And Prophecy, as much as Prophecy players will disagree with me here, Prophecy does have a difficult time against Evilswarm. Orphean is a big problem. 2,550 attack is 50 attack more than Priestess. Not that it matters, because you can't even summon Priestess with Orphean out, unless it's not got materials, obviously. So the big problem here is how do we get rid of it? And the only easy answer to that is with Old Vindictive Magician. Now, Old Vindictive Magician is a popular card. It's been played in certain Prophecy decks. I know Fuzzy used to play it in his Prophecy deck at one point, and it's very good. It's not what people expect, but I definitely think it'll be put in the main deck. Now, or side possibly, but I do think main deck, because it does synergise well with the deck. The deck is slow in nature anyway. Slightly sped up when Tachyon comes out, obviously, but with Tachyon you're only special summoned in the end phase anyway. Your normal summon is open. Perhaps you didn't draw that Spellbook Magician on your first turn, so you set All Vindictive instead. But outside All Vindictive, they do have a problem getting over Orphean. They have to rely on battle, they have to rely on summoning a Justice or a Breaker, activating a Spellbook of Power, and then attempting to ram it over. This leaves them vulnerable to Forbidden Dress, damage up prison, all these things, because of course they can't activate Wisdom in the damage step. Forbidden Dress is a big problem. Forbidden Dress also stops All Vindictive Magician, but you can't expect the Evilswarm player to open everything every time, but it certainly does prove a big problem for Prophecy. So definitely Orphean, if they get it out against the Prophecy player and it stays there, you're going to be looking for new ways. You maybe want to be investing in a few more traps, Compulse, what's that card called? Treacherous Trap Hole. More outs to make them use their Pandemic to protect it. So the next deck I'm going to talk about is Mermail. I'm going to talk about Undine first. Undine have a much easier time than the Undine-less build. I'll refer to it as Mono Mermail because that's what everyone knows it as, but Mono Mermail is not really right. But anyway, with the Undine build, they can simply summon Genix Undine, send a heavy infantry from deck, and that's it, Orphean gone. While this isn't ideal, because then they're only getting the Genix control to their hand, they're not also adding from the Dragoons that they would otherwise send. This does get rid of the Orphean, it makes the Evilswarm player waste those resources. However, again, a Forbidden Dress will stop Orphean from being destroyed, and then you do not have anything to beat over the weakened Orphean after that. So again, we are relying on the Evilswarm player to not have the Forbidden Dress. Forbidden Dress is a really interesting card because it's not actually that good, but in Evilswarm it works so well for protecting Orphean. It just works so well. But Evilswarm against Undine build also have the ability to main deck macro. Main deck macro is very interesting in Evilswarm. One of our new teammates actually, Sam Ryan, he's a very good player. His build uses macro and it's absolutely devastating. If you summon Orphean, flip a macro, what can the Mermail player do? It's just exactly the same as Dolker macro, and in fact it's probably even worse than Dolker macro. So that's the Undine build. The Undine-less build, that has an even more of a difficult time. With the Undine build, I think it's more of a skill matchup. I think the best player will ultimately win if both players don't open broke. Whereas with the Undine list build, I think it's definitely more in Evilswarm's favour. They don't have such an easy time dealing with the Orphean. They certainly have first turn Yugioh, which just really shits all over everything, but other than the first turn Yugioh or subsequent perhaps summoning 2 pikes, discarding the heavy infantry from hand with pike, they certainly do have a lot less options, and it becomes 2 cards instead of 1 card to get rid of it. And if you're allowing 2 cards for one player, then you have to allow 2 cards for the other player. And of course that means allowing the Evilswarm player Forbidden Dress to counteract the heavy infantry yet again. So again, mind control doesn't really help because you can't detach the second material, because you can't search for your own infestation spell card because you don't have one. Book of Moon is probably the best card for the Undine list build, and I do think Book of Moon is going to start seeing a lot more play again. People have been taking it out of the decks, but I certainly haven't, because I certainly think it's one of the most versatile cards in the game. But certainly in the Undine list build, Book of Moon is going to be a quick, simple out to Orphean. Of course, that's not if Macro's face up on the field, but that's a different story. So I think we'll move on to the next deck I want to talk about, and that's any chaos deck. You know, something like Agents or even Chaos Dragons. This is basically the worst deck to use against Evilswarm. All your monsters are big. You cannot summon them when Orphean is on the field. You have no traps, save maybe 1 treacherous trap hole, which is not enough. You then have Dark Hole and Honest, and when you're relying on limited cards really to get rid of something that they can just splash out quite easily, that's when you know you're in a bad position. So I definitely think that playing Chaos against Evilswarm is all going to be about the side deck to win, and if you draw those side cards, because if you do not draw those side cards, you are in such a massive disadvantage against Evilswarm. They will run circles around you for days. For days they will not run into that Raikou, and if they attack face down, they will guaranteed have the Forbidden Dress to back you up, unless they're a terrible player, and you shouldn't be losing that game if they are a terrible player. So the last deck I'm going to talk about, maybe the last deck if we've got time, we might do another one, is Dino Rabbit. Dino Rabbit is very similar to Evilswarm. They're both control decks in my eyes, Evilswarm being a bit bigger monsters, but I'd certainly think Dino Rabbit does have a slightly hard time against Evilswarm, unless of course you open Rabbit, but even then, opening Rabbit, it will stop one player, yes, but that's all Rabbit ever seems to do. So really this is going to be a lot about the dice roll. If Rabbit wins the dice roll, it's more in their favour. If Evilswarm win the dice roll, it's definitely more in their favour. In general, over the course of the match, I do believe it's Evilswarm's favour, because all the playstyle is very similar. What does Rabbit have really to get over an Orphean, apart from a Rescue Rabbit or a Tour Guide? Because they need the rank 3 Exceed play to make Acid Golem, and they also need a Gem Knight Pearl or Bahamut Shark off the Rescue Rabbit. So you're now relying on your Night Assailant and Snowman Eater if you're still running Night Assailant, which means Rabbit will most likely definitely be main decking Snowman Eater from now on, because that is a simple 1 card out to Orphean, which isn't really there aren't that many of those around now. Unfortunately, Orphean will still have 50 enough attack to destroy the Snowman Eater if they do decide to Forbidden Dress it, which is unfortunate, but you know, you can't have everything. So yeah, Evilswarm are looking pretty good in this new format. I don't think it will be the success will be rivaled like Mermails or Wind-Ups of last format, or Insectors of formats of old, or Chaos Dragons, whatever. But I certainly do think they'll put a stamp on the meta. I think they will be the Rabbit alternative, definitely so. Just because the playstyles are so very similar, and the sort of method of the deck, the way you play the deck, is very similar to Rabbit. I would say it's slightly easier to play than Rabbit, because Rabbit is very player interactive. Your back rows are your best weapon in Rabbit, and you also want your opponent to try and make you negate with Laggy or Dolka, in such a way that you don't have to negate with Laggy or Dolka, because the longer you keep your Laggy materials, the more likely you are to win that game. So, whereas with Evilswarm, it's just, oh, I've got a 2550 attack monster that you can't attack over because you can't summon level 5 or higher. So, I think that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Post your comments in the comment box below. I love a discussion, I love a good discussion. Put your counter arguments towards me if you think I've missed anything. I was going to do Fire Fist, but it's basically Fire Fist, summon bear, use bear effect, kill Orphean. If you don't do that, you don't kill Orphean. Simple as. So I wasn't really going to go into that. I think Fire Fist do have the best matchup against Evilswarm, but I think that's blatantly obvious to most people who play this game. So yeah, if you think I missed anything, if you think I'm just flat out wrong in some of my assumptions in this video, just let me know. Comment in the box below. I will reply. My teammates may even reply. So I think I will end this narration here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the music, and peace out.